Alright, welcome back. Just wanted to do an update here on this spotted bear. Definitely feel like I've gotten to know this spot a little better. It's been interesting because it's actually, we've gone through some hotter days here, which I think may be the main contributor to things slowing down. Oh, look, it's a black carp coming in just in time for us making this video, which is nice. Look at that XP, over 25K. It's only a 6 kilo black carp. You'll notice as I throw these back in, we have tightened up the space where we're fishing in. And just for curiosity's sake, I will show you the different baits we're using as well. I'm doing a variety of baits, but they all complement each other. They're all very similar. And I also have made my own PVA mix that seems to be working great, but it's very similar to what we were using before. And what we were using before was cheaper. This is a little bit more expensive because we did crush up some boilies in there. So let's take a look here while we have a second. I wanted to do this video now because I'm hoping that during this nighttime we'll maybe have a couple decent fish for you to see, but we already got that black carp, which is nice. First of all, let's look at the fish. A couple of blacks. Again, for every like hour or two, I feel like I'm seeing a couple of black carp. I don't know if some people are seeing more than that, but that's what I'm seeing. Tons of common carp. And we've had some nice one. I mean, 18 kilo, 18.7 kilo common carp. That was a fun fish to pull in. Grass carp still showing up. Mirrors. Good fish overall. Since I've made the change in baits and PVA, I've not seen as many small common carp. But I don't know if that has to do with the baits. It may have to do with the weather. I think the bite rate has just slowed in general a little bit. Let's look at what we're using though, baits, just real quick. On this one, we've got Craft Baits Honey Pear 20 pop-up. By the way, you're going to have to pause here. I'm going to be going through this pretty quickly if you really want to see each breakdown of what I'm using. And we're pairing that with the Honey Cream 18 pop-up. I will show you the PVA in just a second here. On the second rod and reel, we have Cocos and Cream 16 pop-up with Honey Pear 20 pop-up. So again, different combinations, but they're all very similar. This is the original I was using in the last video. Still works very good. Cocos and Cream 16 with Honey Pear 16. Okay, so that's what we're using. We're still using the same dip, the Cocos Nectar dip. And here's the PVA that I made up. Okay, I say I made it up. This is very similar to what I was using before that Wrangler had sent me. The only thing I've changed is, I think I mentioned in the last video, this was my thought. I took off the regular pellets and I added some crushed honey 14. Because my suspicion here is that the honey is the key. So we've gone with a very similar PVA bag, but the dry mix does have those crushed honey 14 boilies in there. And those are sinking boilies that I crushed up, not pop up. Other than that, the setups are the same as what you saw in the last video. And nothing else has changed other than where we're casting. So we are, with our first line, we're actually trying to cast over those reeds. I think that's probably the spot that the most people are fishing in, the more I've talked to people. Because what you're doing here is you're actually making it into the little deeper hole. You're going just past the reeds, just into that 3.5 potentially. And then with my second line, I'm still kind of heading into the corner of the 3.5. And my third line, I am aiming just to the left or at that the marker float that we have in the water. Again, that might be catching the corner of the 3.5, but I just try to spread it out slightly. But I think if you polled people, you'd probably hear that a lot of folks are casting over the tops of those reeds, or just to the right of them. So that's kind of what we're doing. I'd say from the time that I was making the first video, I fished this for a couple more hours, and like I said, I feel like the bite rate has slowed down slightly. But we're still probably, instead of 300 silver an hour, it's been more like 300 silver an hour and a half. I think that has to do with the weather, though. When we were here before, it was storming, it was cooler. Since then, the temperatures only increased. But we're starting to get some rain again now, which hopefully will be a good sign. And it's also supposed to be cooler in the coming days, way cooler 5 days from now. So if that actually holds and is true, then I think the cooler temperatures will be good for this spot. But we'll see. I don't know. I can't say that for 100%, but we will see. All right. Speaking of seeing, let's see what we have on these lines. All right, this is nice. This isn't going to be too small of a fish. I have hopes that this will be either a grass carp or a black carp, if for no other reason because it kind of took off. A lot of times the common carp, by the time you get them on, they haven't moved that far. So the fact that this one made some distance before we could even pick up the line, hopefully will be a good sign. Yes, that's what we want to see. So a lot of times when it takes off like that, there's a good chance you're going to get a nice black or grass carp. All right, neither line is pulling, so I think we're okay. Let's go ahead. Ooh, goodness. I really thought that that fish had been on a while on the third line. This also seems like this is a reasonably good fish. I'm going to go ahead and start dragging it. So this, I would say, much more likely is a decent common. It hasn't hardly moved at all. Now I'm second guessing myself. See how light it is all of a sudden? That's how grass and blacks feel. Yep. Because when you first get them on, you're feeling the strength, not the weight. You're feeling their strength. But once their strength gives up just a little bit, all of a sudden you realize, oh, that's not very heavy fish at all. So actually it didn't feel like a common at all. It was a black. Very good. That is 2 black carp in a row. So much XP. Decent, really good silver. And you can see why I have dialed in the location in which where I'm casting these. I think that this is a common. I think that getting it just over or just to the right of those reeds there, with at least a couple of your lines, is the way to go. We have a nice little setup going. I think they should add us some more stuff we can set up, like a little lawn chair or some kind of nice little sporty chair, maybe a little side table. Put our drinks out and then like manually drink from them when we want them or something. Like, especially when you're carp fishing, you just feel like I just want to get some stuff out and, you know, relax. Here I am at Bear having a good time. Enjoying the rain. And it's high time we started to be able to change our outfit. You know, the important stuff. When I made the first video, we had like a couple of crucians. It's sort of weird. I've not seen any of that anymore. And again, I don't know if I should attribute it to the weather, to the changes I've made in PVA and baits. But the quality of fish has gone way up the more I've spent here. This third line, this has been weird. This might be a crucian. I might have spoken too soon. I mean, it was just nibbling forever and doing weird things. Ugh, how did I call that? I don't even want to pull it in. Do you think it'll just fall off if I try? I totally jinxed myself. Ugh. That is too bad. If you happen to not catch the first video, the other ground bait that Wrangler suggested was this one. So no crushed up boilies in this one. It's actually a very affordable PVA bag that seems to work good here. So it's always nice when you don't have to spend a fortune on creating PVA bags. But this spot's doing great. I mean, it can justify spending a little bit for sure. Are we getting another crucian here? Surely not. Nope. Can't be. It's a grass. It's about as far right as I want to cast it there. Well, that goes against what I was saying, that it seems like I've noticed on a lot of fish. That common took off. If you are, if you're lower level, like trying to make this work with, you know, alphas or golds, or certainly something like a saber, like someone in chat's talking about. This can be a tough spot. I mean, it's one thing to like get good at pulling in common carp, but there's enough grass and black carp here that you definitely could test your patience on fighting big carp, fast, big, strong carp actually. But if you have the gear for it, this spot seems really good. At least two people in chat are also fishing here with me. They both just caught reasonable commons. You can see when the spot's sort of picking up, not only from what you're catching, but if you're fishing with people in the same chat, then you'll start to see them come in there too. That's a nice leather. Just with this kind of bite rate on carp, it just adds up. Somebody's asking me between, we were talking about how at this point prefer the alphas over the golds just a little bit. It's close, and golds are still great. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong getting the gold 880, but I think the alpha 8000 is just a little better. But someone's asking, is it worth it to go an extra, whatever it is, 150, 200 silver for the small Narga in comparison to the alpha? And I don't remember. I haven't really looked at the Nargas very closely in a long time. So I'm going to log in on my alt account and check it out. I tell you one thing that keeps messing me up is I see this line over here that's coming from my marker rod. I probably ought to put it over on this side of me, because it, for a second, I think one of the lines has moved that far, and I'm like, oh, I've got a fish on. Let's see if I can get it out of the way so that I don't really notice that line as much. Maybe that'll be better. It's still going to mess with my eyes, though. I don't know that I really even need it in the water anymore. It was more helpful when I was spreading them out more to give me targets to aim for. Look how much that fish is moving. It's a common. It was really wanting to swim against me, but the strength of the reel, we just pulled it right in. Now people are messing with me and sending me messages on my alt account asking for gear as a joke. Alright, there's a nice one. Alright, so the alpha's 2130 silver. Just looking at prices at Volkov here. Alpha's 21 silver. 2130 silver. 14.5 kilo. Narga is, let's see, 24. It's actually more like 300 silver more, at least at Volkov. And how much line capacity are we talking about? At 42 meters, 182. And at 42 meters, 197, so a little more line capacity. It's got a different gear ratio as well. Okay, so Narga 300 silver more at Volkov. More line capacity and slightly lower gear ratio. Might be worth it. And then the half step that somebody takes, I mean, that some people take, is getting the caliber. It's about 1,000 silver more, but you're getting a little bit better load capacity. And I've heard it's a pretty good reel. It's really like that, or going up to the Everest 2 would be the next sort of half step before you get to the big boy reels. So Wrangler was saying, if you didn't see in chat, he was saying he's heard that the Narga might get damaged a little more quickly than the Alphas. I think the Alpha just feels like a really good reel for that sort of power level. That mid-level reel is just really solid. So, and I think they look pretty sweet. So nice common, nice leather. This is not the night I was necessarily hoping for overall, but it has been okay. Oh, you know what? I think I have a reel repairing. No, I don't. It's finished repaired. I had a gold 80 that I repaired the other day, but it's already finished. What would it be like playing the game and only using express fishing gear? That would be interesting. I can't tell you how much, I mean, I hate to even say this out loud. I'm embarrassed to even say this out loud. I can't tell you how tempting it is to me right now to start a new leveling series at level 1. There are a few things I enjoy more than making YouTube videos for leveling, you know, the first, 15 levels in RF4. The way I was thinking about this earlier, and I was kind of like justifying it in my mind, like I could have my main account fishing spots like this that are pretty good silver, but you know, don't require a lot of direct attention, you know. And then record on my main monitor a new account. It's so tempting. I like the limitations. I like that feel of starting over, leveling everything up, trying out new strategies, new spots, being stuck at Cottage and Mosquito and Winding for a long time, figuring out how to make it work and make silver quickly, really focusing on cafe orders. I guess how long has it been since I started the last one? Because some of it is like, I often feel like, okay, there's a new group of people playing than the last time I did one of these, and maybe it'll be helpful for them. So let me catch this fish and then I'll pull that up. Sorry, this video has turned into one of the most random videos I've ever done on. It's supposed to be talking about a spotted bear, and we've talked about random reels, my YouTube videos. Okay, so this is the last PVA bag. Next fish we catch, we need to change the PVA bag. So that was another nice leather. I mean, this spot continues to do really well. I'll catch a couple more fish and then we'll see how much silver we've made. And I guess let me know in the comments. I mean, hopefully I might talk myself into it and it might not matter, but I'd love to know if what folks think. All right, leveling together part 1 started 4 months ago. How many new players are there 4 months later? I mean, we've got the COVID virus going. More people are playing games in general. People are spending time doing that. So maybe that's one point to consider. All right, we gotta do the PVA. So that's a good suggestion. I think my problem with doing, so someone is saying instead of a leveling, well, they're saying to do a leveling series, but first start with a guide series. And I like that idea. I think the problem I have with it is at least I don't feel like, so an example would be, an example might be, here is a guide on picker rods. This is when it makes sense to use picker rods. These are some of the picker rod options. I mean, I can imagine doing that. Maybe I know more about picker rods than I give myself credit for, but I feel like the things that I know the most about are leveling, because I love to level, feeder fishing, and then past that, it's more about like just approaching different spots, different fishing spots and stuff. If I start trying to like share expertise on picker rods or this is your guide to ultralight gear, it's not like that I don't have anything to offer, but I don't know that I'm the best resource for something like that. Like maybe there are players out there who have spent hundreds of hours using picker rods and have really seen them in lots of different scenarios, and they might just have more to offer than me. I could do a more general guide to like, okay, I'm going to break down all the different gear in the game and tell you a little bit about what each one does. but giving very shallow information. There's lots of stuff like, what am I going to say about jerk rods and jerk rigs? I've never used them. I haven't leveled up my spin fishing enough. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't want to make stuff that I'm A, either not passionate about, or B, not really that informed myself. That was quick. We just put this line back in the water. I think there's a fish on. Yeah, it just wasn't showing it the first time I picked it up. So I like the suggestion of doing guides. I'm just trying to figure out, you know, maybe I do two things. Maybe I do a guides playlist and just start slowly working on it. And then I could also start a new leveling guide. Leveling series. I mean, for a leveling series, I'm only thinking about, like, you know, again, leveling to Oldberg, maybe through Oldberg a little bit. It just doesn't make sense to me to call that a leveling guide once you get to Quarry and beyond, because it requires so much time. At that point, it's like, you know, by then someone has their feet under them. They don't really need, you know, I mean, I don't know. I think for me, it's like, it's so grindy at that point. It's like, okay, I'm just going to be playing on my main account, you know. But the low level stuff I think is worthwhile. That's where new players need suggestions. The game doesn't tell you a lot of things. It doesn't really give you ideas on what you should or can prioritize, what's smart to prioritize. And even that, different players can approach it differently, but it's nice to have some ideas. So I don't know. I'm going to think about it. The first few episodes are always the most fun. There's something way different about being level 4 at Mosquito and figuring out, like, okay, how do I make this work? How do I be efficient? And really getting to know the lake and trying different things. versus being level 34 and going back to Mosquito and trying to sort of recapture that magic. This has been a great spot though. Am I still recording? Good grief. This was not supposed to be another long video. It's been another 37-minute video. All right, let's get one more fish and then we'll go sell all our fish and look at the big silver number and be like, ooh, wow, that's awesome. And then hopefully you'll come try this spot out and do even better. I really do not enjoy picking it up too quick like that. It's very frustrating. Although, what I was telling... Oh, look at that. What I was telling someone else is when you see the fish get off like that, just imagine it was a crucian. And instead of wasting your bait, a big black carp will come get it now. Well, that did not happen. Okay, let's go see what we're up to here. Now, this is a lot. This is a long amount of time. I mean, this goes back to 2.5 hours ago with a couple of small breaks, but I've pretty consistently been fishing. And again, the temperature's been a little warm at times, but overall, it's still been pretty dang good. What in the world? Sometimes I get so turned around at bear. $535. So we've got that 18 kilo common, and then we should have the blacks and leather. It's pretty nice though. It's just good, consistent silver. Yeah, I really like it. I like this spot. And I feel like, you know, you're you have that sense or that hope that the big one's about to hit, you know. Okay, thank you for watching. If you have any feedback on if it's time for a leveling series, let me know. But I hope you get to try out this spot at Bear if you're a high enough level, and good luck fishing. Talk to you next time.